So, my girl child is graduating from college in about 2 weeks, and our entire family is descending upon us. Both sets of her grandparents, aunts, and uncles. Everybody's coming to our house, and I have decided that right now is a great time to paint my kitchen backsplash. Will I get it done? I'm not really sure. So, let's see how it goes. So, this is my kitchen for the last 2 years, but let's rewind so I can show you where we really started. In 2020, our family had the opportunity to move to Copenhagen, Denmark. So we took that opportunity to downsize. So we sold our house, the house that we pretty much had raised our kids in, and bought a townhouse. So the house was fine. It just wasn't really our style. So we've slowly been making changes, changing out light fixtures and painting, and we decided to redo our primary bathroom. Well, we didn't do it. We hired somebody to do it. And since we blew the budget on that bathroom, I needed an easy and cheap DIY for our kitchen backsplash. So this is the kitchen on inspection day before we closed. And this is the kitchen how we've been living in it. I had the cabinets painted by a friend of mine, and that was about it. So there's nothing wrong with this brown tile. It's perfectly fine. It just doesn't really fit our vibe. My name is BJ. My business is called Junkdup, and let's paint my kitchen backsplash. I am prepping the tile pretty much the same way that I would prep a piece of furniture. So I'm going to clean it, make sure that there's no dirt or grease, and then I'm going to rinse that cleaner off to make sure that there's nothing that will interfere with my paint sticking to the tile. So there is no way that my paint is going to stick to that silicone caulk, so I did remove all of that and gave the tiles just a little bit of a light sand. Now that all the prep work is done, it is time to get to the fun part. So I'm going to start by applying a single coat of DIY paint, White Swan. This is a clay-based paint which has amazing properties of adhesion, so it pretty much sticks to just about anything. So I have all the confidence in the world that this is absolutely going to stick to my tile. I just get one coat on there. It doesn't look great now, but I'm going to go ahead and do a second coat. So in all honesty, I waited more than 24 hours, not because I needed to, but because I got a nasty cold and didn't feel well and got zapped of all of my energy. And so even though I was on a time crunch to get this finished, I probably let that sit for a couple days. So the second coat is a blend of 3 different colors. We've got the White Swan, which was the base coat, some vintage linen, which is just slightly different than the White Swan, and just a little hint of gravel road. I'm basically doing this exactly how I would do a piece of furniture. So I'm using a different brush for each color and then hit it with a little bit of water from my misting bottle and then use my blending brush, the same brush that I use when I paint furniture, to blend it all out. Now I am using a pretty light hand because if I'm heavy-handed, I will run the risk of pulling that first coat of paint off. Okay, so I lived with this for a few days and then decided that the white was just too white. So I decided I'm going to do some dry brushing to kind of warm it up. It wasn't that it was too bright, it was too cool. So I'm using Crinoline, that's what I started with, and a stiff bristled brush, and I'm doing a dry brush technique, which means I have very, very, very little paint on my brush. The key to good dry brushing is to start with a really light hand because that is the most amount of paint that you have on your brush is is after you've dipped it in the can and wiped some off, you still have the most amount of paint on your brushes. Start super light, and then as that paint comes off onto your surface, you can go ahead and use a little bit more pressure. The crinoline color was fine, but it just wasn't doing it for me. I needed a little bit more, so I switched up to sandy blonde, which is just a little bit darker than that crinoline. It's still got a nice warm taupey color to it. You can probably see on the video the difference between where I've done the dry brushing and where I haven't. It really warmed up that white color a lot by doing the dry brush. I've never painted a kitchen backsplash before, and so while I have a lot of experience painting, I don't have experience painting tile. So it's going, so you know, we'll see. I'm gonna start with the full tiles first because that's gonna be the easiest, and I thought maybe there was a chance I might have to cut my stamp, and so I wanna do the full tiles first. Disclaimer, I am not a professional tile painter. I am using things that I had on hand in my craft stash. So don't come at me if you think that this was a bad idea to use ink, or if you don't like that ink, or if you didn't like the fact that I painted it with that kind of paint. This is all just stuff that I had, and I'm trying to stay on budget and do this as inexpensively as I can. So in retrospect, what I should have done was left the backing sheet on this, and I'm gonna show you that in just a few minutes, because doing it this way, where I have just the stamp and no backing sheet, made it just a little bit harder to do these full-size tiles. Using that little roller is fine. It's just that when I use the roller on the silicone stamp itself, it has a tendency to want to move that stamp. So there's that backing sheet, which is what the stamp comes on. And if I roll with the backing sheet on there, it's so much easier. And I'm so glad I figured that out before I did the whole wall. So I'm not good with repetition, like when I have to do the same thing over and over and over, and basically that's what this is, because I get bored super easily. So I have to really, I have to really buckle down and push myself to get this done. So those tiles along the side there that I don't want to stamp because they are the border and they are painted, but I don't want to stamp the design on there, I'm just using some parchment paper to kind of mask that off. Makes things a lot easier for myself. Okay, so now that things are humming along and I've pretty much got all of the big tiles done, it's time to do all of those half tiles. Okay. The two things I found the most helpful for doing the half tiles is the parchment paper and having no backing sheet on my stamp. I want that stamp to be super flexible. I basically just dry fitted that on there so I knew exactly where I needed to ink. And then you'll see me lay that stamp on that parchment paper, and I'm using the parchment paper to kind of push the stamp into place, because otherwise that stamp, because it's silicone, is going to stick to my granite countertop. Having an extra set of hands maybe would have made this go a little bit smoother, but honestly, once I kind of figured this all out, it really went pretty quickly. It wasn't so bad. One other thing to pay attention to is making sure that you're lining your stamp up with the one that's next to it. I didn't do that in a couple places. Okay, you guys, we're getting there. We're getting there. It's working out. It's actually working out quite well. I'm happy with it. And, you know, fingers crossed I'll get it done before everybody shows up, but it's looking good. I don't know. So I'm sure there'll be people who watch this and complain about my choice of top coat because I don't really know if this is an appropriate top coat. I probably should have used a tile and grout sealer, but really I'm sealing the paint and not the tile itself. And I know that this sealer works perfectly well for paint. So there you go. That was my rationale. We freaking love the way it turned out. And yes, I got it done before company showed up. And yes, our company absolutely loved it. And this will just have to stay like this until it's in our budget to redo our kitchen. Later.